So it's about time for me to record another video. Let me get ready. Welcome back to another video, guys. I've really been contemplating about the content I'm putting up on my channel, and I've really wanted to make something that provides a bit more value and maybe teaches someone something. So that's why in this video I'm going to be trying to tell you or show you how to turn footage like this abomination into something that looks a bit more like this. So make sure you stick around to the end of this video and I'll show you exactly how I get this look. It's very clean, nice, seamless, pleasing aesthetic look. This will be very helpful, so do make sure you stay to the end so you can see exactly how I made this look happen on a budget, which is the most important thing. If I'm honest, most people watching this video are probably recording videos off their iPhone, but I just wanted to do this to prove, you know, you don't need to hold on to press that record button and start making great videos. The iPhone XS is producing some great results that you can see right now, so you don't need to wait until you get a DSLR or mirrorless camera to start recording and have some banging looking footage for you to post or put out to the world. Now, that being said, it's not going to produce the level of quality that a mirrorless or a DSLR camera is going to produce. You can tell by, you know, the way it captures the colors, they're more realistic. Now, I'm not going to, you know, divert too much from the topic of the video, but I just wanted to show you just how many steps up in quality of your video you can have when you prioritize improving your lighting as opposed to your camera or your hardware. So let's get straight into this video. So why is lighting so important? First of all, if you're recording videos off of your iPhone and you like to look at yourself and see yourself while you're filming, you're definitely going to need to be in control of your lighting, because the front camera of an iPhone, it doesn't record with settings that are dialable. That means you can't be in 400% control of whether you're shooting in 720p or 1080p. Now, as most of us should be aware, 1080p is much better looking than 720p. It's twice as much information in each pixel. So, you know, you can get 1080p if you upscale it when you're editing or when you're rendering your video, but it's not going to be the same. You're basically just stretching out the pixels, so the quality is going to be less at 1080p. Now, if you didn't know, iPhones don't actually allow you to change the settings for whether you want to shoot in 720p or 1080p for the front camera. If you go into settings and then you scroll down to camera and you want to change any of the settings, you're essentially changing the settings for the back camera as opposed to the settings for the front camera, and you have no way to change it in the front camera. The way the front camera records everything is automatic in the native iPhone camera app, meaning you can't change any of it. You can't change it from 720p to 1080p. You can't change megabits per second, which is the amount of information for each pixel per second that your iPhone records at. So if you're not in control of any of that, there are only a certain limited amount of ways for you to improve your video quality, and that is to improve your lighting. Now, the reason why you improve your lighting is because of an important term called ISO. Now, ISO, if I'm going to explain to you quickly and easily, is the amount of digital light in your videos that your camera adds to, you know, brighten up the picture. So the lower the ISO, the darker the picture is, and the higher the quality of the picture. And the higher the ISO is, the brighter the picture is, but you're going to get more noise in your picture. You're going to have a reduction in sharpness, and the colors are not going to be as rich as if you had a lower ISO. So technically, you know, rule of thumb, you want to have as low as an ISO as you can possibly get. Now, with poor lighting, guess what your camera is going to do? It's automatic, so it's going to crank up the ISO to as much as it can to brighten up the picture, and guess what? That results in more noise and just more awful looking, you know, video or pictures or whatever. So how do you combat that? By improving your lighting. Now, I use a softbox with 2 levels of diffusion. And the reason why I prefer a softbox to, let's say, a ring light or let's say any other type of foreground light is because it is soft. Now, that means there's diffusion, and essentially what that does is it spreads out the light. So if you can see the highlights on my forehead, they are not as sharp or as hard as if you was to have a ring light. You would definitely see the light. You can see it here, but it's soft. It's been spread out. It's not harsh on my face. Another benefit of using a softbox is the shadows as well. You see my hand, it creates a shadow on my body, but that shadow isn't as harsh as, let's say you was to have a ring light. That ring light would create such a hard shadow, it would make it less appealing to watch. So it's just a more flattering look. There's less harsher shadows, less harsher, you know, highlights on my forehead and strips of light. It really just spreads everything and just makes it a bit more flattering to look at. That being said, there are benefits to using ring lights. You know, if you do want just a brighter light, then, you know, you can go with ring lights. Or if you like the fact that you have highlights and stuff across your face and darker shadows, then definitely go for that. There are other benefits, which I don't know off the top of my head, but I prefer to use softbox because of those reasons. And then there's also background lighting. Now, the reason why I've chosen blue is, if you didn't know, blue is on the absolute opposite of the color spectrum as, you know, colors you will find in skin, like yellow, orange, red. And that means if I use blue as a background color, it's going to make my face stand out and really pop. So the viewer experience of this is, subconsciously, they're just going to focus on my face because my face pops out in the image. You naturally focus on my face most of the time because my face is standing out. Now we've talked about foreground lighting and background lighting. Those are the two main components. Now, if you take those two lightings into account and really improve on them, you're going to see a very, very significant increase in quality of your footage. And the next thing to do is to determine whether you still want to carry on recording with your front camera or your back camera if you use an iPhone or a phone to record. Now, I would always recommend you use the back camera because the sensor on the back camera can capture a lot more vivid colors, a lot more information, and it just looks much better off the back camera. And I would always recommend someone to get used to just speaking to a lens and not feeling like you're crazy. I know how hard it is. You know, it took me, you know, a little bit of time to get used to it. I'm still not used to it. I'm still trying to get used to just speaking to a camera and just looking at a lens and not feeling like I'm losing my mind. But yeah, you just have to get used to it. And, you know, you're going to see a real jump in quality if you're just using your back camera. Now, another option is to use an actual filming app or dedicated filming app for your phone. So this will allow you to dial in your ISO and your other settings which affect the look of your camera manually. When you dial those in, you can keep your ISO as low as possible, and then you can add lighting to the point where, you know, you can basically see yourself. You know, use a dedicated filming software on your iPhone and record yourself and dial in your own settings so it's not automatic. And let's say I'm moving my hand and it's changing the white balance and the color of my hand is changing as I'm moving it through the picture, or someone walks behind me and it's changing the focus and it's changing the ISO as they walk behind me. You know, your camera, it takes account not just you, but what's happening in your background, and it's always constantly changing. So if you want to dial in those settings to allow everything to stay fixed, it's going to result in much consistent, much better looking footage for you and much better video quality. So now we've spoken about foreground light, we've spoken about background light, and I've shown you visually just how much it can improve your footage if you take care of your lighting. You've seen what you can expect if you're recording from your phone. So the next step to improving your video quality is what settings you use when you edit your videos, how you render your videos and upload it to YouTube. Now this one is a very important tip, and trust me, I know not a lot of people know this, and there's a way I know and find out if people know this, weirdly enough. Trust me, it's some serious drip, some serious tea, and you definitely want to find it out in the next video that I make in this, you know, 3-part series for how to improve your video quality on your phone or your camera or DSLR, whatever camera you're using. Make sure you subscribe so you know as soon as I post that video, and hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next part of this series. All right, listen, look. So because you stayed throughout the whole video, and I know you got some serious value out of this video, and you stayed throughout the whole thing, you didn't skip, I'm gonna reward you with an unlisted video link down in the description. So what's an unlisted video, you ask? It is a video that you can watch if and only if you have the link to the video, so you can see the next upload early as soon as I upload this one. That's for staying to the end of the video, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But I'll see you in the next video. I hope you really get some value from that video because it's crazy. Some real drip, I promise you. And yeah, hold it. Peace.